So yeah, anyway, so I wanted to talk about this, what I call docs ops, and I apologize upfront. It's a little bit about AI, but it's critical. So, basically, I've been involved in GNOME documentation in the past, couple of years. Maybe some of you know me. And so basically, as the industry of technical communication is moving on, in the direction of artificial intelligence, the roles are changing drastically, and also the work that people do who, let's say, write documentation as part of their jobs, or if it is their job, is transforming in a big way. So I wanted to just like share some thoughts on basically what the professional or rather commercial technical writing is doing versus the traditional way of writing documentation that we have in community projects like GNOME or other community projects out there. So the traditional way of producing content is that you have, let's say, developer writing code, then that triggers some action on the side of a documentation writer who takes input from the developer, be it code, raw content, or it can be interviewing the developer. It can be brainstorming session between the developer and the documentation writer. Of course, it's also the writer actually using the software, testing the software, and finding out how to document, what to document, what it looks like, and etc. So that's the traditional way that we've been also using in GNOME, right? When we had like documentation workshops, brainstorming sessions, we were talking to developers about the changes and then documenting them in GNOME docs. And the new way that's employed now in commercial world is that basically you no longer need the writer, in the middle of the code being written and the content being published, because everything can now be automated with agentic sessions, and basically as soon as the code is written, deployed, there can be a pipeline that just generates the content. Then there is some gating employed, and the content is built. And basically, there is, in this process, there is no longer any moment when any content gets actually written. Of course, there can be exceptions. Of course, every project can be different, But the idea is that the human part of writing is basically disappearing. And what I am saying can be, by the way, applied to localization and software translations as well, where also human translators are, in commercial world, just being replaced by the translation bots, and the localization roles moved from human translation to, let's say, project management or some sort of gatekeeper. So that of course means that it creates like a divide between the commercial and let's say community world, and also it creates a divide within the community world with people who have access to AI tools and people who don't. The question here being more like a rhetorical question here being, what is in it in the future of like creating community content, or maybe even like localization, in terms of like the gap that is being becoming larger and larger between how we have worked so far in community and what the rest of the world is doing, whether we like it or not. So that's an open question that I wanted to end with, and sorry for the slide failure. Thanks.